In today's class, I'm going to be guiding you through a really effective pre-run stretch that will focus on the muscle groups that you need to be run ready in around 10 minutes or so. We'll be focusing on stretching out the tight hamstrings and lubricating the hip joints. To begin, find a comfortable seat on the mat and place our hands just gently on the knees. Taking a moment to check in, noticing any areas of tension or tightness you might be holding in the body. And we'll take a deep breath in and lengthen through the spine. Bringing our awareness to our pelvis region and starting to make circles from this point in the body. Imagine your pelvis is like a pot and your spine is stirring the pot. We'll start to make the circles a little bigger, waking up the spine and getting things moving. Reversing the direction now. Making the circles a little bit smaller and finding stillness. We'll take some nice rolls through the shoulders, one way and the other way, releasing any tension in the neck and the shoulders. And when you're ready, we'll make our way to a tabletop position. Taking your time to get there, placing the wrists directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips, tops of the feet pressing into the mat. We'll just take some cat-cows to wake up the spine a little bit more. So on an in-breath, we'll drop our belly down towards the mat as we look up and send the tailbone up towards the sky. Exhale, we'll start to round through the spine as we tuck the tailbone under and the chin. Inhaling to look up and exhaling to round. Taking one more round here. Exhale. Good. Coming back to a neutral spine, we'll just start to hover our left knee off the mat and point the left knee out to the side, keeping a nice right angle bend in the knee. We're going to continue rolling the knee back, so we're creating some circles, squeezing the knee underneath the body and out to the left side, behind us and back under. Taking a few more just like this in your own time. And reversing the direction. Good. When the knees next out to the side, we'll straighten through the leg and on an exhale, bringing the big toe all the way down to tap on the ground. Inhale to lift and exhale to tap. Inhale and exhale. We'll take two more. Breathing on the way up, breathing out on the way down. Last one. Bringing the toe down. And then we'll lift the toes back up, and this time we'll be pulsing backwards and forwards. So kind of kicking the toe towards the front of the mat. Just opening up the hip. Taking a couple more. And releasing all the way back down to our neutral tabletop position. We'll tuck the toes underneath and start to set the hips back over the heels. Feeling a nice stretch in your feet and your toes. Very important to strengthen this area, and we can take a little round in the spine and lower the head. Inhale to look up and find our neutral tabletop. We'll untuck the toes and hover the right knee, taking it out to the side with a right angle bend and drawing our hip circles or knee circles. And reversing the direction. Good. Good. And then taking the toe out nice and long to the side, or lower the toe down to the ground. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale and exhale. Two more. Last one. Lower it down. We'll pick up the toe once more and then take our pulses front to back. So really kicking the foot to the top of the mat. Taking a couple more. And releasing the knee back down. We'll tuck the toes under once more just to stretch out the feet. Sinking the hips back towards the heels, rounding the spine and lowering the head. Good. And we'll inhale to come back up, finding our neutral tabletop position. This time we're going to walk the hands forwards about a hand width, so the wrists are no longer directly underneath the shoulders. On an inhale, we're going to hover the left knee and kick it backwards. Exhaling to squeeze the knee underneath and see if we can bring the knee just behind the wrist and shuffle the right knee, right leg backwards, finding our pigeon pose. Wonderful stretch for the hips and all of the connective tissues and nerves that are traveling through the pelvis. So I like to, especially when I'm running, find a dynamic version of this pose and find any little movements that feel good to me, taking my weight over to one side and the other, maybe forwards and backwards, just finding what feels good for you. You should be able to feel a stretch. Good. We'll inhale to lift the left knee up, bringing it back so that the knee is directly underneath the hip. And then we're going to tuck the right toes under, lift the knee, and just press the heel towards the back of the mat to stretch out the right leg. Good. And release both knees back down on the ground. And once more, we'll kick the left leg back. And this time on an exhale, we're going to step the left foot to the outside edge of the left hand, finding our lizard pose. Good. You can take your left hand to your left knee, just to open up the hip a little bit more. Option to stay here, or if you'd like to come into a quad stretch, we'll start to lift the right foot off the mat and squeeze the heel in towards the glute. And then seeing if we can take a hold, sweeping the left hand back to take a hold of the foot, coming into a quad stretch here. Inhale to open up the chest. Exhale to gently release the hold of the foot and lower it back down. We'll shuffle the left foot in between the hands. And then on an inhale, we'll place the hands on the knee and press the hips forwards as we lift the upper body up, maybe looking up to the sky. Exhale to drop the hands down. We're going to pick up the toes, the left toes, and sit back towards the right heel, just to stretch out the back of the left leg. So you should feel a lovely deep stretch here. Exhale to rock it back forwards. Inhale, we're going to lift the arms up and over this time, finding our crescent lunge, biceps by the ears, pressing the hips down. Inhale and exhale to place the hands either side of the foot. This time, if you can, I'm going to see if we can keep the flat of the foot on the mat as we set the hips back again. Just to stretch out in a slightly different way. Inhale and exhale to come back and just step the legs all the way back, finding our tabletop position, keeping the hands a little further forward than the shoulders. This time we're going to kick our right leg back and exhale to squeeze the knee underneath, bringing the right knee behind the right wrist, shuffling the left leg backwards, finding our pigeon pose on this side, and taking those little movements once more just to get really deeply into the hips. Good. And on an inhale, we're going to pick up the right knee and place it just underneath the right hip. Tuck the left toes under and press the left heel towards the back of the mat just to stretch out the back of the leg. Good. Bringing both knees back down. We're going to kick the right leg back, and this time step the right toes on the outside edge of your right hand, finding lizard on this side. Lovely hip opener. Taking the right hand to right knee. Just gently opening here, being gentle but firm. And then if you'd like to come into the quad stretch, starting to bend through the left knee, bringing the heel towards the glute, and maybe reaching right hand to take a hold of the foot. Inhale. And exhale to gently, with control, release the foot all the way back down. And we'll shuffle the front foot in between the hands, preparing for a low lunge, taking the hands to the knee, just very gently, as we press the hips forwards and down and lift the upper body. Inhale and exhale to frame the foot with the hands. Lift up the front toes and start to set the hips back towards the left heel, stretching out the back of the legs. Lovely stretch for running. Inhale and exhale to set the front foot back down on the mat. We'll inhale to lift the arms up and overhead, finding our crescent lunge with our arms raised, pressing the hips down a little more. And exhale to bring the hands either side of the front foot. This time we're going to keep the front foot flat on the mat as we set the hips back, noticing the difference in sensation here from the back of the legs. Head can be heavy towards the knee. Inhale and exhale to bring it forwards. We'll step the front knee back and just take a moment to take a child's pose. So bringing our big toes together, knees nice and wide, setting the hips back on the heels, bringing the forehead down to the mat and reaching through the arms. Utthita Balasana, extended child's pose. Maybe taking some swaying motions with the hips. Good, finding stillness. And then we'll gently raise ourselves up and come onto our seat. We are going to have the left leg extended here, preparing for a nice deep stretch. So options, depending on your mobility, you can take a flamingo variation, so crossing the right ankle just above the left knee, seeing how that feels for your hip. Or if you'd like to take it a little bit further and intensify, you can see if you can bring your right heel towards your left hip, kind of stacking the knees one on top of the other. So wherever you are, taking a moment to lengthen through the spine, and then we're going to reach forward towards the toes. I find this one of the most effective stretches for the backs of the legs. Just holding here and letting the head fall nice and heavy. Inhale to look up, placing the hands either side of you, and then we're going to see if we can take our left heel to the right hip. So now both heels are at either side of our hips. And once again, you can take hold of your feet and we can lengthen through the spine here. And on an exhale, we're going to see if we can fold it forward once more, maybe walking the hands out in front of you. And we'll hold it here for a few breaths, just really getting into those hips. You should feel this more intensely on your right hip, traveling up the right hip flexor, keeping both sit bones in contact with the mat. Last inhale and exhale to walk the hands in towards the body. We'll gently unstack the knees, allow the legs to extend nice and long, and just give a little shake before we come on to the other side. So coming into your version, either the flamingo variation where you cross the left ankle just above the right knee, or maybe you'll bring your left heel towards your right hip, stacking the knees,
lengthening through the spine, and then exhale, we'll start to reach towards the toes, feeling that lovely stretch, traveling up the backs of the legs, getting you ready for your run. And you can let the head fall heavy towards the knee. Inhale to look up. Then to further intensify, for a lovely deep hip stretch, we'll come into our Gormukh cow face pose. So bringing the heels either sides of the hips, taking a hold if you need to, making sure your sits bones are in contact with the mat. Lovely long spine, and then we can exhale to start to hinge from the hips to fold over the knees, maybe walking the hands forwards and coming to rest here for a couple of breaths, just to really get deeply into our hips here. Honestly, this is an amazing pose for run prep. On an in-breath, we'll look forwards and walk the hands in towards the body. Just gently and slowly uncrossing the legs, unstacking the knees, bringing the legs out in front of you and just giving them a little shake. We'll start to close our practice now. You've worked really hard, stretched all of the muscle groups you've needed to get you ready for your run. So good luck out there, and thank you for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.